name is Regina Putri Damayanti Sidjabat. I will share my opinion about the advantage and disadvantage of education system in Indonesia that I have obtained. The first one has advantage. In my opinion, the most prominent advantage of education system in Indonesia is the free school program. Although it still costs money to buy school equipment, but this is very helpful for children who have a high desire to go to school. Then there is a teacher who is multifunctional. For example, when teaching mathematics, he can also teach arts when there is an urgent situation. In addition, student graduation is very realistic or does not refer to exam scores only, but can be determined from the daily learning process. And second, the shortcoming of Indonesia education system. Number 1, learning methods are monotone and seems boring. Number 2, with a fairly dense study time, students are still burdened with additional assignment. Number 3, teacher quality is still lacking. Number 4, facilities are still inadequate and uneven. Number 5, educators' fees are still below salary. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce. My name is Nur Apriyani Sumiarsa of my branch from the R1C class of Biology Education. I am here to explain the advantages and disadvantages in your educational system. Our learning what it is. The perks of the education system are 1. Our students are required to be active in learning our creative and innovative in solving problems they face. 2. There is assessment of all the defining aspects of our student, not only of the test scores, but also of all test, attitude, and performance or others. 3. The mandatory extracurricular activities of the course promote character, discipline, cooperation, respect for each other or the others. 4. In the hope that teachers' creativity will be increased. 5. Can will learners who can listen well. The lack of an educational system is that 1. The burden of students and teachers studying is too heavy, so school hours are too long. 2. There is too much material for the student to master, not to mention the teacher's lack of diligent subjects. 3. Not all teachers understand this attitude and skill assessment system of students. 4. Scores are a burden to students who don't like scores, so there's an element of coercion. 5. The student activation lovers is not yet every mature.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Saskia Syafira. In my opinion about advantages and disadvantages of education. Disadvantages 1. inaccurate learning methods. 2. Elementary high school curriculum that prioritize knowledge rather than behavior. 3. Knowledge more than attitude. Advantage 1. From the previous curriculum, many people were smart. 2. Can from learns who can listen well. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The weakness that exist in the learning system in Indonesia, namely 1. The quality of teacher is still lacking. 2. The learning method is not provided because students are not invited to discuss it but only become loyal listeners. 3. Existing facilities to support education. 4. The government's errors in prioritizing knowledge over attitudes. The advantage 3 are 1. As a result of the previous curriculum, there were many smart people in Indonesia. However, intelligence was not balanced with good behavior. 2. Can from students who can listen well. 3. The altered graduation system affect better student learning.
Used to hide under the covers, serenade each other with careless melodies.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bilqis Abbiyah, NPM 2020-4-150-01-87. Opinions about the advantages and disadvantages of education so far. In my opinion, some of the advantages and disadvantages so far have been bad, so are not. Advantages. Advantages. Number 1. Advantages when studying. During this pandemic, we can be close to be family and can follow the protocol by deprecating the COVID-19 virus. Number 2, we can also use our bodies subtly when studying online and at home. Okay, Number 3, and at home, parents can see how we learn and can also guide us when studying at home. Number 4, time and place is more comfortable during the learning process from home.
3.
Deficiency. Number 1, many students cannot learn online due to economic problems. For example, they do not have an Android handphone, a computer, or other laptop to study online. Number 2, third urge for looking at cell phones, computer too often. Number 3, it is difficult to understand why there are lessons that are not understood. Number 4. Learn is mostly theoretical and has minimal practice because it is not possible to have direct interaction with friends and teachers. Number 5. For those who live in village and settlements whose communication is still not good, they will certainly find it difficult to access the internet. Number 6. Too many dear stations that can interfere with student concentration while studying. Number 7. We cannot face-to-face with the teachers if we are new students. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To study online. Number 2. Third is for looking at cell phones, computer too often. Number 3. It is difficult to understand why there are lessons that are not understood. Number 4. Learn is mostly theoretical and has minimal practice because it is not possible to have direct interaction with friends and teachers. Number 5. For those who live in village and settlements whose communication is still not good, they will certainly find it difficult to access the internet. Number 6. Too many dear stations that can interfere with student concentration while studying. Number 7. We cannot face-to-face with the teachers if we are new students. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Elvan Maulana Saputra. Today I will explain about advantage and disadvantage of education that I feel. So the first advantage I feel was that I had a wide view, because when I was educated, my thinking expanded to a greater perspective. In addition, I can distinguish between good and bad, so that I can control myself to do better. In turn, the advantage I gained from my education were that I was able to see my interest and talent, because it helped me to focus on a goal that I would later be successful if I pursued it. Also, interest and talent can make me seem more confident and help easy interaction. And the last thing I get in the way of education is that I'm told not to discriminate against each other. It opened my mind to being friendly toward others, because we are all basically the same, being created by Allah. The only difference is our obedience to Allah. As for the disadvantage I feel over the years, there are limits to coming up with creative ideas. Education should make students better and smarter, but Indonesia's education system made me more limited to creative thinking. Thank you.
Wabarakatuh. My name is Aulia Wulansari. Now I want to explain the education I got so far. During my studies, the quality of education in Indonesia was still low in certain factors. For example, students are required to follow a subject from elementary to high school and make student talents less honed because of their obligation to follow all subjects. The education system in Indonesia is still more concerned with intelligence than the creativity of a student. We should have the same position. In fact, there are many factors. The quality of education in Indonesia is still low. The quality of education is something that must be improved and also maintained so that it does not get worse. If the quality can be maintained properly, the recent quality can be better, which will produce better human research and can improve the situation in Indonesia. Thank you, and apologies for my incorrect words. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syifa Mutmainah. The disadvantage of the education in Indonesia. The education system in Indonesia is still more concerned about intelligence rather than the creativity of a student, who should have the same position and equal between one with another. Education facilities in remote areas are inadequate. And last, a lot of education curriculum is theoretical. Advantage of the education in Indonesia relatively do not make his student depressed. It means that the education system in Indonesia does not make his student are too depressed with the lesson he has compared to some other developed countries such as Japan and South Korea. Improve the nationalism. In education in Indonesia, often emerging values of nationalism to various subjects. And the last one, advice for education in Indonesia. Educator or teacher in Indonesia have not evenly distributed, especially in remote areas. Improve its equality education. By increasing its quality of education will result in human resource to be better of his full quality and able to bring the Indonesia nation competing in the world.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Mirna Nurhalisa. I can explain my opinion about advantage, disadvantage, and such as. the advantage of education I got, providing broad insight and knowledge from the grown-up, so we can understand the material either from theory or practice. For myself too, education train us to always be honest with what we do, learn to be cooperate and contribute with friends in completing tasks or problem, then trying to have responsible attitude and discipline about time. And education also give us access to make friends with many people in various circle, so that we can have many experience in journey of life. The disadvantages of education system in Indonesia is ineffective because studies all subject, but the result are competitiveness still inferior to other country where only a few subjects are subject. For myself too, education system in Indonesia also force students to continue learning, even though if the learning is forced and the student they will be not understand to the material theory or practice being taught. And the last messages of education in Indonesia for the next generation. It is better Indonesian education system is changed, further minimizing scope of theoretical subject and taking only few important ones. Then also create more extracurricular activity so that students can be develop their talents directly by applying them in the school or outside of the school. And for rules in the school that are still loose with the laws, bullying, it is better make the severe rules or penalty, so that bullying in the school deterrent effect and repeat and doesn't repeat bullying again to other people. That's all my opinion. Thank you very much and thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.